My sister stood up at Thanksgiving dinner, raised her glass, and with the confidence of someone who had already won, announced, "I'm getting the house." Everyone froze. Forks paused midair, and in the 10 seconds that followed, I learned what betrayal really looks like and why my father's face turned from confused to furious. Thanksgiving is supposed to feel warm, a slow, peaceful day where the kitchen smells like cinnamon, where family sits too close, tells old stories, and pretends everything is fine. Ours? It became a battlefield. My name is Maya Reynolds, and I'm 29 years old. I've always known my sister Aria was dramatic, competitive, and allergic to humility, that nothing prepared me for the moment. She decided to rewrite the future of our entire family. Thanksgiving morning started calmly enough. The sun was bright, the air crisp. The old maple trees beside our house were shedding the last golden leaves of November. Inside, Mom was basting the turkey like it was a ritual, humming an old Christmas song, even though the holiday was still weeks away. Dad was peeling potatoes, pretending he liked the job. And Aria? She arrived late, of course, pushing through the front door in a beige designer coat and sunglasses big enough to cover half her face. "You're late," Mom said with a laugh, but I could hear the tension under it. Aria smirked. "Traffic." "Mom, everyone wants to be somewhere today." She dropped her coat dramatically on the sofa, revealing a dress more suited for a rooftop party than Thanksgiving. Then she hugged Mom, hugged Dad, and when she reached me, she only gave a nod, the kind that barely counts as acknowledgement. I didn't care. I wasn't trying to win her approval. We sat for dinner around 5 p.m., the sun already gone, the house glowing warm with candles and low lights. Dad carved the turkey, Mom served the stuffing. Aria poured wine like she owned the place. For a few minutes, it almost felt normal. Almost. But then the air changed. Aria tapped her wine glass with her fork, a sharp, delicate sound that commanded attention. Dad froze mid-slice. Mom looked startled. I looked annoyed, because I already knew. Bad news travels in the sound of Aria pretending to be classy. She stood up and smiled. That fake, glittering smile she used whenever she believed she was above. "Just all." So she began. "I guess it's a good time to share something important." My stomach tightened. Mom looked nervous. Dad squinted at her like he'd missed the memo. Aria lifted her glass just a little higher. "Mom and I talked, and I'm getting the house." She let the words sit in the air like smoke. Forks clattered. Mom gasped softly. Dad blinked, slow, heavy, angry. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, because Aria loved dramatic jokes. But there was no joke. She continued confidently. "I mean, it makes sense. I'm the older sister. I live closer." And Dad cut in, voice sharp. "Aria, sit down." But she kept talking. "I'll take over the house when they're older. Maybe renovate, maybe rent it. But Mom agrees it should go to someone responsible." Her eyes flicked toward me, a quick slice of condescension. I felt my jaw tighten. "Responsible?" I'd been taking Mom to appointments for the last 2 years. I'd fixed the leaking basement, repainted the kitchen, done everything Aria never bothered to do, but apparently I was not responsible. Dad put his knife down slowly. His shoulders stiffened. "Aria, stop." She ignored him. "I'll handle the mortgage transfer." And eventually, Dad's fist hit the table. Hard. Everyone jumped. His voice was low but shaking with anger. I said stop. Aria finally fell silent, eyes wide, offended that anyone would dare interrupt her performance. Dad stood. His face had changed completely. The calm man who spent years keeping peace was gone. In his place was someone fed up, someone hurt, someone betrayed. "You talked to your mother about the house?" he asked. Aria tossed her hair. Yes, she agrees it's for the best. Dad looked at Mom. Is that true? Mom froze. Her hands trembled. I just thought, you thought what? Dad's voice cracked. That you can make decisions. Behind my back. That the daughter who only shows up on holidays should take the home we built together. Mom wiped her eyes. Arya stepped forward. Dad, please, don't be dramatic. It was the wrong thing to say. Dad's face flushed and he pointed at her. Do you know who was here when the roof leaked? Who was here when your mother fell in? The kitchen? Who paid the property tax last year when I was sick? He didn't have to point at me. Everyone knew the answer. Arya swallowed, embarrassed. I didn't know. That's right, Dad said. You didn't know. Because you weren't here? Silence spread across the table like spilled ink. Then Dad said something I never expected to hear. I changed the will last month. Mom's head shot up. You what? Arya paled. I changed it, he repeated firmly. The house goes to Maya. The air vanished from the room. Arya nearly choked. What? Why would your dad cut her off? Because she earned it. Because she takes care of us. Because she shows up. And because you don't get to decide the future of this family. Arya's face twisted, shock mixing with anger, pride cracking. Open, she pointed at me. She doesn't even want the house. Dad's voice softened, but it carried weight. Yes, and that's why she deserves it. She doesn't take from us. She gives. Arya looked like she'd been slapped. She stormed away from the table, grabbing her purse. I'm done with this family. Mom tried to stop her. Dad didn't. He just closed his eyes, exhausted. The front door slammed. The house shook. Mom stared at her plate, tears dripping silently. Dad sat down, shoulders heavy. And I sat there, caught between loyalty and relief, because for the first time in my life, Dad had chosen me. That night, after the dishes were washed and the house quieted down, Dad knocked on my bedroom door. Can we talk? He asked softly. I nodded. He came in, sat on the edge of my bed and rubbed his forehead. I never wanted it to blow up like that, he said. I know. But I also can't pretend anymore that everything is equal. Arya lives in her own world. You're the one holding this family together. I felt tears burn my eyes. Dad continued, voice breaking. The house is yours, not because of paperwork, because of everything you've done. I hesitated. I don't want a war with Arya. He gave a sad smile. Sometimes doing the right thing still makes people angry. The truth was heavy, real, undeniable. Thanksgiving had turned into chaos, but maybe chaos was needed. Maybe the truth had to explode before it could settle. The next morning, my phone buzzed. Arya, you stole the house from me? Arya, I'll never forgive you. Arya, enjoy being Dad's little hero. I typed, deleted, typed again, deleted again. Finally, I wrote one sentence. I didn't steal anything. You just never cared enough to be here. She didn't. Reply. Dad spent the day fixing the loose railing on the porch, humming quietly like nothing had happened. Mom stayed quiet but soft. Something in her had shifted too, that evening. As the sun dipped and the first winter breeze rolled in, Dad stood beside me on the porch. You know, he said, families break in small cracks long before they fall apart. Yesterday wasn't the break. Yesterday was finally admitting the cracks. I leaned my head on his shoulder. For years, I thought being the quiet daughter meant being the forgotten one. But maybe it meant being the trusted one. The steady one. The one who loved without needing applause. Thanksgiving didn't destroy my family. It revealed it. And sometimes clarity is the only real blessing.